Welcome to the Mother Together podcast. This is Tiana.
This is Ariel, and we're two moms empowering other mamas not to settle in their motherhood, relationships, careers, and self-worth.
We are so excited to be back, and we have a special guest today. Her name is Macy Blackwell, and she's one of my favorite influencers, but I may be a little bit biased.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm glad we got to finally do this, guys.
Yeah, we've had to push it several times. That's my fault. Sorry. So yeah, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Okay. So Macy Blackwell. I am an, online social media influencer and content creator. I've got 2 daughters who are 7 and 4, and been married to my husband for almost 9 years now, and he is a firefighter and also works construction. So he has 2 jobs. I'm home alone a lot.
So you guys never see each other, basically.
Basically, yeah. We really have to make an effort to, spend time together, plan the date nights, and book the trip. So we do have that togetherness time.
So I know you shared this recently, but can you tell our listeners how soon after you met Corey did you guys get married?
Okay, so this is a fun story. Yeah, so we kind of just hit it off right from the very beginning and basically fell in love. And after 7 months of knowing each other, we got pregnant with Lux and got married, and thankfully it's worked out so far,
Well, I was there for all of that, so I knew that, but when you shared it, I was like, wait, they only knew each other that long and they got married? Oh my gosh.
It's funny how normal that is, though, at that age when you're younger.
Yeah.
Used to high school relationships. And Well, I know that we're going to talk more about your life as an influencer and how you got started. And maybe even give tips for ladies that are listening that want to pursue something like that. So I guess tell us how you kind of fell into what you're doing now. Is it something that you had planned to do the whole time, or how did that come about?
I can tell this whole story. So really, since Instagram started, I've always just kind of been a consumer of content. I really enjoyed following influencers and stuff, but a few years ago, I was always too scared to, because I would compare myself to these already successful girls, and I was like, well, gosh, my house doesn't look like that. I don't have the clothes and the bags, and I was like, there's no way I'm gonna, put my crap out there because it's not as nice as theirs, So that really kept me from it in the beginning. But then I kind of had this pivotal moment that it was really funny, because I was sitting in the TJ Maxx parking lot on the phone with my sister. So my sister kind of did blogging and wanted to be an influencer kind of in the beginning. And so I would kind of help her think of ideas for her content. I was sitting there in the parking lot, and she was like, what am I going to do for spring? And I was like, you should do Easter ideas, what side dish to bring to the family gathering, what outfits to put your, family in, Easter baskets, all kinds of things. And I was sitting there and I was thinking, you know what, I should be sharing this. I was like, I have good ideas, and I think I could, share these with other women and moms and help them. It's I should do it. So, but it wasn't until the summer of 2018 where we were on the drive home from Holiday World, where we lived, that's a real popular amusement park. And the kids were passed out, of course. So Corey and I had 2 hours of uninterrupted talking time. And he really kind of pushed the thought over the edge for me, and he was like, I think you'd be really good at with this. I think you have a lot.
Corey.
Yeah, I know. He's been so supportive. He was like, I think you have a lot to share, and I think you should just go for it. And of course, I was so scared at first, because I was oh my gosh, I don't want to put myself out there in that way. People are gonna make fun of me. But I was like, people have made fun of me my whole life. So what do I have to lose at this point?
Right. And we are in a small town. So
we are
so judgmental of wow, I can't believe they're doing that.
Yeah, you're really putting yourself out there by showing up on social media. And so I was like, and so at that point we just kind of started, and you kind of just started at that time, I don't think stories was really a big thing yet. So we would just try to post cute family photos just once or twice a week. And that's kind of just where we started with it. And of course I started with almost 0 followers like everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's literally where you have to start.
Yeah.
It's not you sign up for a certain Instagram account or something.
No.
So it's funny that you said that about him encouraging you to do that, because I think you told me, we were talking the other day. I was like, who takes her pictures?
Yes, Corey. So Corey takes he is the ultimate Instagram husband.
That's pretty
that.
He's wonderful. Yeah, like this whole time he's been like 100% behind it. Like he's never questioned any of the packages coming to the door, or he's always been really good to, even if we're in public places, he'll take the photos without getting embarrassed, thankfully. And he'll take 100. He knows it takes like 100.
Yeah.
We had to like get that out of the way.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Yeah, because we just came from Disney World, and my husband's just now getting okay with like, all right, that's how you remember things, is you have pictures.
Yeah.
So like anytime I would ask to take a picture, we'd be like passing something. I'm like, oh, this is a really good angle of the castle or whatever. Like, can we take a picture? I'm just like, I'm asking. I know he's going to get frustrated, but like it has to happen.
Yes.
So I cannot imagine. I mean, I know some men are different, but that's like a way to grow for sure.
Yeah.
Like, not only are you gonna take pictures all the time, you're gonna stand there and just go like this.
Just don't stop.
Just a ton of angles, a ton of different, just like keep going until we are done.
That's funny.
I love that. So how do your kids handle that? Because me, even trying to get pictures of my kids, my Instagram feed is half just as me, because I'm like, I'm not even dealing with it. They're like,
everyone's like, are you a single mom, Tiana?
Exactly.
No, it's gotten harder as I've gotten older. So when they were like babies and toddlers, they, I could easily bribe them with like a sucker or like, here, take a picture with mommy. And like, they always looked cute and just had those natural smiles. But anymore, it's harder to get a family pic, and it's kind of like pulling teeth. And so I'm also anymore, I'm trying to show them a little bit less, just because they're not with me as much anymore either, because they're going to school and it's not that all the time. So
that makes sense.
We take one when we can.
People
their own
lives. Yeah.
Good. I love
makes
that.
sense. Yeah, we struggle with that too. Can you tell me what your favorite thing is that you post about? Like I know you have themes, you kind of have like pillars. What's like your favorite thing to post about?
I think I get most excited about doing like seasonal, like holiday stuff. So I love doing seasonal decor and like fun recipes and showing like party setups. I like, fashion and like doing the recipes and everything else too, but I get most like just fired up about like the seasonal memories and creating traditions with your family. And I think that
so good
is a good connection.
That's that your time lapse for like decorating for the different holidays are like my favorite.
Yes. Oh, good. Yeah, I love doing that.
Do you actually eat at your dining room table?
We do.
Like day to day?
Not every single day.
Yeah.
Not every single day. So we'll usually, like, if we're just having breakfast or like just a super casual, like, pizza dinner or something like that, we'll just kind of eat at the island or in the living room. But no, like maybe at least twice a week, because Corey is gone a few nights a week. True. So when he is home, I try to cook, and we'll try to sit there, and we just have to like push all the pumpkins or whatever out of the way for a little
I think that's going to be a cute memory for your girls too, to like grow up and that being their vision of like a dining room table, like this grand whole thing. I love it.
It's beautiful.
I know my favorite that you've done recently is your Bridgerton party.
Oh my gosh, that was a blast.
One.
We had a blast. I don't know. Somehow I talked Corey into like wearing that top hat and everything.
I really showed it to Zared. I was like, "This is how much you're failing. Like, this is amazing that he did that."
Corey, like, he's setting the bar so high that all these husbands.
He is. He really is like that kind of guy. He's awesome. We had a blast.
I love that. It did look fun.
Yeah.
My girls would have been like so excited, but Quincy would have been rolling his eyes at me. Oh my goodness, I would not.
We can't get our boys in anything but like joggers.
Yes.
Yeah. We're lucky if they're like joggers that are actual pants. Usually they're just sweat joggers. So
exactly.
Yeah, that's how Lux is usually. Lux is my like comfy one, and Thea wants to dress up like a princess every single day.
Oh,
they're opposite.
So then it's like not like you can do hand-me-downs because
not really, because she doesn't really want all the dino shirts. Just like like I want to wear my pretty dress.
Okay, so when you really started like posting, like you said, what do you remember, like kind of where you at with followers?
Yeah, so I had kind of started with like 2,000 followers, like just of hometown people, friends and family. So that's kind of where I got started. And once I decided I was going to do it, it was really important to me. I really wanted to make that push to 10K like everyone does, right? Because you want the swipe up.
Yeah.
Yes. So for that, but I knew I wanted real people, because the thing is, you can't have an actual like business as a content creator if your followers aren't real.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was something for me that like I wanted to stress from like the very beginning. I wasn't gonna, and honestly, I couldn't afford to buy followers if I wanted to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At that point, like, I didn't know how people would just like wake up with all the, like, I was like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. And it was important to me that I had actual women on the other side of the screen that
Mhm.
would like the same stuff that I liked
Mhm.
and that would want to like swipe up and support me, you know?
Right.
So I will say something I did every single day up until that 10K point was I would search hashtags in my category. So I would search for like girl moms and like holiday decor and mom style and stuff like that. And I would go and I would engage on their content. So their photos, I would leave like a nice, like authentic, genuine comment on their photos, like not like a spammy one, a nice one. And that kind of did two things for me. So that person would probably come look at my page and like who left this comment, and they would check out my page, and if they found like my content to be useful, they would follow me. And then also the people that were looking through their comments, their own followers might see me. So I was able to grow. It was super slow, but like slow and steady
Yeah.
in that
genuine
way. Yes, with real people who chose to follow
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, so
So-
like literally the best followers that you could get.
Yes.
Yes.
So that was tedious,
Mhm.
but I just knew like I wanted to kind of have a foundation of real
Yeah.
people there. So that's kind of where that got started.
So to set an expectation, not only for someone that wants to do this, but like even our ladies, that's what we teach them to do if they
Mhm.
want to grow an Instagram account for a virtual assistant career. But how often did you do that a day? Like, did you have like, okay, today I have to comment on this many people's?
Kind of. I would just spend like, let's say at least 10 minutes. 10 minutes
That's
a
not
day.
bad.
It,
That's not
no,
bad.
like, yeah, I didn't have time, you know.
Yeah.
Who's got time
I was
with
gonna-
kids?
I
to
was
be on
in
your
like
phone?
2 hours. Like,
No. So like, but it was almost every single day.
You have to be intentional about it.
Yeah, it was like 10 minutes. I was like, I'm going to go and comment on
Yeah.
a few people's stuff. And, you know, that slowly got those people. And then also, obviously, when you are posting content, you are naturally gaining people in that way.
Yeah,
but
right.
that kind of helped sped it up for me. So when COVID happened, that was kind of like a pivotal moment for me in like my business and journey, because I was thinking, all right, what are we going to do now? We're all at home. Everyone's on their phone, kind of like consuming more content than we ever have. And I'm like, no longer is it going to work posting in like real dressed up outfits, like doing all these travel photos,
Like pretending everything's normal for you.
right.
somehow.
It's like,
Yeah.
that's not realistic. Like, we're all at home right now. So I started thinking, okay, what kind of valuable content can I share with these ladies? And so then that's when I started really doing like a lot more recipes, because we were all like cooking at home. All the restaurants
Yeah.
were closed. So I would like share recipes. I would share like us going down the slip and slides in the backyard, or like, you know, trying to make stuff fun. And then that helped me grow in ways, because not only was that content like valuable content, it was shareable content.
Yeah.
So people would do the things and they would tag me in their stories, which gave me, you know, access to their own followers and
Right.
friends and family. And then I started taking it seriously. You know,
Yeah.
I was like, I can see this being a thing. Like, this is a chance. Like, either I'm going to like just post a few cute photos and call it a day, or I'm going to like turn this into something more.
Yeah.
And so I started taking it seriously at that point and being a little bit more intentional about what I was posting.
I love that COVID did that for so many people.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do too.
Like if it had to be here, it
Uh-huh.
sounds like so many
Take some good
people
things out of it.
were able to start like or continue or grow like what they had been wanting to do for a long
Yes.
time.
And I also love that you said, like, what would my followers need? Because
Mhm.
as a content creator, no matter what kind of content you're creating, it's not about like you, it's about what do they need?
Mhm.
What can I
Yes.
provide to them? It's just adding value to them.
Yeah.
And that's the key piece of being an influencer, a content creator, period.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah. I can say something on that too, because I had to change my mindset with it, because I think, you know, a few years ago, to be a content creator, influencer, blogger, all you had to do was post a cute outfit picture, throw it up there, and call it a day.
Mhm.
And you can't do that anymore. And it's not about you. And that's the thing. I think it's hard for some of us in this industry to get, that it's not just about like flexing
Mhm.
to other people, because
Mhm.
no one wants to see that. That makes people feel like crap when they leave your page. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so every day when I wake up, I try to think, how can I help these girls? How can I bring value to their lives? So I try to like think of how I can serve them.
Mhm.
And that just like starts the day off right with like, you know, good intentions of really helping.
Mhm.
And it's not about me, you know, it's
Yeah,
about
yeah.
them.
That is really powerful because if you think too about like how moms are so void of a village,
Mm-hmm.
I think that like these types of communities can really like replace that, because even if it's not like you're individually calling each one of the ladies that follow you and saying like, how are you doing today, mama? Like, how can I help you? Like your stories are doing that because it's like that. I mean, in the world that we live in, that is the community that we've created, is this like virtual one.
So, okay, I know you work with a lot of brands. How did you get into working with those brands, and how do you pick and choose like what you work with?
So I probably don't do as much as I should because I don't ever reach out to the brands first, which I know is a huge like mistake, and I know I should be, but I just haven't like taken the time to do that. At some point, I think I would need, a virtual assistant or like, right? Yeah. Like someone to kind of do some of that for me. But really what happens is, I'll get lots of emails a day and I'll go through them. Honestly, like 90% of them are just stuff that I'm not even going to respond to, but then if I see one that I'm like, I know that brand, I already use that product, or I'll check out the page if I haven't used it and ask them if I can try it first. And then at that point, we will negotiate some kind of rate for all they're called deliverables, which is like what you're going to be posting for them, like how many stories, is it a reel, blah, blah, blah. And hopefully we come to some kind of agreement there, and then we move forward with the partnership. So I just try to do a few because not only is it like time, it's also like no one wants to see ads all day. And I don't like seeing that. And I feel like it comes across like kind of inauthentic when you see people just pushing like 100 different things every post. I knew I didn't want it to be that way. So I kind of try to wait for the ones that I really want to do. And I will not, like a standard I kind of try to hold myself to with anything is like, I'm not going to share it if I wouldn't tell my own mom to buy it.
Yeah.
And so I just, with everything, I just stick to that.
Yeah. So like, again, just still like adding value to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people need to kind of remember that influencers are a free service to you.
Yeah.
Because they're free. They're free for us to consume their content. Like I consume influencer content too. Like that's how I make a lot of choices. And the influencers, like most of the time they're buying all this stuff with their own money. They're like taking the time to film it. They're like reviewing it. Like they're doing all of that work. So it's saving you time and money trying out different things, and you don't have to do it. So like when people do like swipe up on your link and purchase through that link and the influencer makes a small commission, that is like extremely helpful.
Right.
And that's like a
It
good way.
doesn't cost them more.
It doesn't, yes, it costs you nothing to, support your favorite content creators.
Yeah. I think that's where we find all of anything new that we try.
I don't
anymore.
So everyone always wants to know, like, how much does, an influencer make?
So really the sky is the limit with this, which that's what I think makes it exciting. Like it can truly be whatever you make of it. And I know people who just have a few thousand followers that are, pulling it in. And then some people that have hundreds of thousands who aren't. It kind of depends on how authentic your following is, and also just like how you're handling things on the business end. But like when we're working with brands, kind of like a jumping off point for a sponsored post, they basically say for every 10K, your base rate is going to be 100. And then you build off of that based on how much more they want, how much time it's going to take, what you have to purchase to shoot the content. But that's kind of a good starting place right there, just to kind of give you an idea of what people charge.
What would you say to someone who's listening that's like, okay, I feel like you felt when you were helping your sister with content. I want to do this, but I'm really nervous, and I've honestly just like put it on the back burner forever. Right. What would you say to them? And also on that same fear, like, is the ocean too full of like influencers? You know what I mean? Okay.
Yeah. So the ocean's too full of your traditional influencer who's you can't take someone else's path on the influencer world anymore. Like it's just not enough. So, but there is room for everyone if you're willing to really like dig in and be yourself and put your true self out there, because we have enough people who are already trying to use the same phrases as everyone else, wear the exact same outfits and copy, and that just doesn't work for anyone now. So you also have to be willing to try all the new features. So right now, like the main way to grow is through video content. I'm sure you guys have seen that with like Reels and TikTok. Like that also helped me, snowball it a little further for myself. I've had like multiple videos of the time-lapse porch decorating that all have 2 to 5 million views each. And that translates to followers on TikTok and then also on Instagram. So I'd say if someone's starting, like you're going to have to show up as yourself, show up on stories every day. Anymore, you don't have to post feed post, like just photos every single day. You don't. Yeah. Cause I think people, it's overwhelming just every single day, like a feed photo. But if you're showing up in your stories every day and showing more real life stuff mixed in with inspirational stuff. I think that's the best way to do it. And then also make sure we all want to grow, but also make sure you're building relationships with people you already have. That's extremely important. Like I answer every single one of my DMs. And and that some days it's hundreds of DMs a day, but I'm gonna, as long as if they're spam, obviously I ignore it. But like if there's
hey,
sugar daddy. No, I mean sometimes those sugar daddy ones though, they got me like, maybe I should send over that foot photo.
We have that conversation almost every day.
We have that conversation. I was like, what was it, like $2,000 for just a face picture? And I was like, a face picture? You just look at my Instagram.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So no, I do. Like. So far, I've ignored all those. But every single like woman that messages me with a genuine question, I respond to them all. And like a lot of these girls I've known for 3 years now, and we do like I do know what's going on in their life. And I'm like, how was your trip? Or like, what's going on with your school closings? Or like, we know what's going on. So those real relationships with people you already have are important because that's also going to give you word of mouth. They're going to say, hey, there's this girl on social media and I love her and like she's just like a friend, and they're going to recommend you to their friends and their family, and that's like the most authentic way to grow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is awesome. I love that you still like are like connected with them.
I love them.
So I have a question because like I even deal with this and I don't have like that many followers at all, but like the pressure of like showing up and like sharing those things and like no matter what we do, we're going to be judged.
Right.
If you're not showing up, people are still making their own stories about you, even if they don't know you.
Yeah.
But how do you deal with that like pressure every single day?
Well, gosh, I feel like I got kind of the hard part out of that because like going through high school, that was my life, like in high school, I would kind of do whatever I wanted and I didn't care what people thought. So I was used to kind of people making fun of me or talking about me or whatever. So like, this is kind of nothing new. I'm just glad I don't have to be with those people every single day in a school, So it's almost easier for me that way. Every day, like I post content or I'm going to get on my stories like zero makeup or, just in a vulnerable state or talk or cry or just, just be my real self. I always tell myself I have to think of my ideal follower right now. Like I got to think of that mom who's like in her house who's having a hard time, or that mom who's running errands with no makeup and just hopes no one sees her in the store. Like, it's like, even though I feel kind of embarrassed, like showing up like that every day, I just got to keep my mind focused on who I'm trying to reach. And you can't worry about the haters and the judgers. And, and at the end of the day, you're only not going to get judged if you're not doing anything.
Right. Yeah.
Because no one cares. So if you are doing something, that's just going to attract people that are hateful. And something that I've heard on, podcast or whatever is you're never going to be judged by someone doing more than you. So anyone who's doing less, like they're going to be hating.
Yeah.
And you're at the end of the day, you're the one living rent free in their heads.
Right.
So you got to just keep thinking of that person that you are trying to reach and just move forward with that.
Yeah. And then we did that one live about creating like the story. So like, I'm going to be like, okay, like I'm going to share this. And then people are going to be like, oh, making fun of me, or like, wow, I can't believe she did that and stayed. And it's like, let's create that story. Like I'm changing people's lives. Like I may like give someone the courage or the confidence to be able to do, whatever that is. So changing that story.
Yeah. Like you start an Instagram account, you pursue your influencer dream. What's the worst that can happen? People make fun of you. What's the best thing that can happen? People love you. And most likely both things are going to happen.
Yes. Yeah.
But one's going to outweigh the other.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so just to like summarize everything that you just said, let's clarify for everyone listening that this is not like an overnight thing, because I think some people will get started and then like a couple weeks later they still have like 13 followers or whatever, and they're like, well, I guess no one likes me, like this isn't for me. Like, can you shut up? Can you clarify like how much time and effort like this takes?
Yes, it takes so much time. So I've been doing this over 3 years now. And that's consistently like every single day, basically from the time I wake up till the time I go to sleep. It has been a lot of work. It's not been easy. And then people need to know that you're not going to make any money in the beginning. And you might not, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of the reality of it. I think my entire first year, I might've made $75. So if that's where people want to, I didn't make $1 until I think I had like 8,000 followers. And I had this lady who was from Shop Goldilocks. Her name was Jill, and she offered to pay me money for a post, and I just couldn't believe it. So I was like, I was so grateful to her. I was like, oh my gosh, she would have paid me. So like that was great. But like it was slow. So like it's not been full time for me really since, or I think last October was when I finally could say like, okay, like I make full time money now. I could support myself if I had
That's
to.
incredible. That's
awesome.
an amazing turnaround. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's what some people don't realize is like, maybe they get lost with like the time and effort. They're like, well, I don't have time. I don't have any effort for this. But it's like, how much time and effort are you putting into your 9 to 5 that you hate?
Yes.
Like, if
Or
you
just
want to be an influencer,
flat out scrolling on,
exactly.
like scrolling and like looking at other
Definitely
feeds,
more than 10 to 30 minutes a day.
Yes.
Absolutely. And for me, a regular 9 to 5, like obviously we need those kinds of people,
Yeah.
but for me, that just never appealed to me, and I wanted to do something where I was going to be able to like put some creative energy behind and like do my passions. And like it's neat that like passions like just cooking and like decorating can be
monetized.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like it's really worked out great, but yeah, it did take a while in the beginning. So I just want people to know that it's a super, super slow grow when it comes to getting paid for things.
But like following the right people will create a support system that will help you like stay encouraged as you grow. So finding people like Macy and all that. So if someone wanted to follow you, like where would they be able to do that?
Yes. So I'm on Instagram at Macy Blackwell. I think there's a period between the Macy and the Blackwell because I think the normal Macy Blackwell was taken already. So it's like Macy period Blackwell, and it's the exact same thing on TikTok. Yeah. Those are my main platforms.
We'll throw them in the podcast description too, so you ladies should go check her out. But thank you so much for being on here
thank you.
Sharing your influencer life with us.
It's fun.
While our girls are outside playing with kittens.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning in and listening to the Mother Together podcast.
If you want to hang out with us in real life, join our Facebook group, Mother Together. Go to Facebook, search Mother Together in groups, click join, and make sure to answer those questions.
See you in the group.